Hello and welcome to the Halifax Real Estate Podcast. I am your host, Jason Paul, licensed realtor in Halifax since 2017 and team lead of the Infinity Real Estate Group at eXp Realty of Canada, Inc. This podcast was created to help you understand a little more about the Halifax and Nova Scotian real estate markets. If you like what you hear, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. So you just start with the raw data.
Yes. I start with, so that's the thing, like, I've never 100%, because I'm a stupid, crazy anal accountant. So, like, I love playing with spreadsheets, but I've never 100% known or understood exactly where that NSAR market stats data comes from.
Right.
And I'm like, if I can't trust the graph, the data, the whatever that something's telling me, because I can't see where it came from.
Right.
I'm like, well, I'll do it my way. And my way, I know exactly where I got the data from. So I trust
your
it.
Your way is you plumage the minerals and go right down to the raw earth and source the materials. And
I've got the jackhammer.
Meanwhile, I just take the government at their word and don't question anything when it comes to these stats.
Because we all trust the government, don't we?
Yeah, that's... It's the reason why I phrase it that way.
Exactly. Yeah. Smart move.
To give context, we are talking about the market again, because the market is moving. The market is shifting. It is, we've been hemming and hawing about this for the last several years of like, it's cooling. Oh my God, it's hot again. Why is it hot? I thought it was cooling. It's cooling. Oh my God, all-time high sale prices. Oh my God, $14 million home sold. Oh my God, South and Halifax. Oh my God, first-time homebuyers are multiple offers when the market's dead. Oh my God, multiple offers at $1.4 million when we're at 4 months of inventory. Anyway, to summarize it, finally.
You just did. You just did summarize it.
Real estate. As of July 2026, Halifax is basically in a balanced market. We are 0.01 months of inventory away. So the statistic, just for people in the audience, you've heard me explain this 1,000 times, but if you're new, 3 types of markets in Halifax in real estate: seller's market, balanced market, buyer's market. To come to this conclusion, we go by the equation is if we were to get no more new listings based on months of consumption, how many months of inventory do we have left for around our homes? Balanced seller's market is 0 to 4 months. Balanced market is 4 to 6 months, and buyer's market is 6+ months. So it's now starting. Now, you know what I'm seeing a lot? Buyer's market. I'm hearing it from realtors. I'm hearing it from people transacting in real estate who are saying, oh, we're in a buyer's market now. No. We just hit a balanced market. We are literally 0.01 months away. So like we should be balanced at the end of August, which will be the last time Halifax was in a balanced market. I checked this, August 2019, literally 7 years ago.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah. The last time we are currently, HRM has 1,500 units for sale between condos, single families, and mini mobile homes, and semi-detached and everything else. The last time we had that many units for sale was November 2019.
Yeah. Well, March 2020 went apeshit. Like that's when it happened.
We talked about this before where it was already going in that direction. Like you were losing inventory every month. House prices going up $10,000 a month, like in 20. I always felt like, in my experience, it started getting weird. End of spring 2019 is when I started seeing it go like weird in terms of like dealing with competition for the first time and separate price points. But then it just kept going. And then March and COVID really like, I think it was going there anyway, but it just gave it like gasoline. Yeah, just poured some gasoline on the fire. Anyway, clearly it's slowing down.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yeah.
How are you finding the market?
It's been like my first half of this year has been probably one of the busiest.
We're going to come to that and why in the back end, because we're going to talk about that too. But yeah, you had a really busy first half.
Yeah. Now, a lot of it was like from a buyer point of view, a lot of it was like, we have time. We can go and look at like 5 to 7 properties a day. We can go back and do a second viewing. Certainly there's been instances though where I've been like, oh, okay, actually we're not going to get chance to go back a second time. Like if this is the one, we need to write the offer on this one now, because if we don't, in the next day, maybe 2 days, somebody else is going to do it.
To give, I just want to give context to that statement, because the market's slowing down, as we know. The reason why you can look at 5 to 7 homes for a few days is because none of them are the right ones. When you see the right one, good price, good condition, good location, you run.
Exactly.
Even still.
Yeah. Like that advice has never changed regardless of the market. It's like, oh yeah, but it's only been on the market 1 day. So is it a good house that fits your suitable needs that you required in the right neighborhood and it's in your budget? Yes. I don't care whether it's 1 day or 100 days. Doesn't matter. Like what matters is this is the one for you. And there's even that next question at the 100-day ones. Why has nobody else bought it?
Always.
It doesn't fit their needs.
Yeah.
Simple as that. There's no rhyme or reason why a house could be on the market for 100 days. I mean, there are other reasons for sure.
Always.
But it could be literally like, yeah, you know what? Every house has one buyer. Sometimes they have more than one buyer. But if you're the buyer and you didn't see it for whatever reason, well, 100 days later, you came to see it, probably because there's been some price drops and it's now within your range of price. So now you go, well, it's found me. Now I've found the house. This is it. This is the one.
Exactly.
And that's how it's always been, Like a lot of people are like not obsessed, but certainly like, oh, what's wrong? It's been on the market for like 60 days. Like there's got to be something wrong with it. No, there isn't. Like
they fucked the price up.
Yeah. It's just, for whatever reason, the marketing on that property, of which price is absolutely a factor to the marketing that you do for a property, hasn't found the right person.
That's it.
Now, for whatever reason, the marketing has found the right person. Let's go and look at it and let's get it done.
Yeah. So buyers, you found a lot more. I have found buyers this year, few and far between. Like in the lead generating stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot more motivated sellers than buyers for the first time in my career. And I've always said this on the podcast. I'm not a big enough realtor that I am the outlier in the industry. I'm probably with the fishes that swim with the stream. So if I'm talking to more sellers than buyers, I'm like, we're shifting. The other thing I found with buyers is really no sense of urgency. Just they're like thinking about it, want to do it, not today.
Yeah. So my sellers, I mean, this year I'm pretty much spot on 30% sellers, 70% buyers in terms of the transactions and the deals we've done.
Okay.
But all the sellers I've worked with have all had some level of urgency about them. So there's been like military repostings. There's been, moved out to the house because his wife passed away and he's now living with the kids. So he's like, got this house with $500 and whatever $1,000 in it. Like, let's put it in my bank account as opposed to have a house. The other ones were, well, we have a deadline because we are building a brand new house and we've got to be in that house by whatever date it is. So all of mine have had urgency / firmness about we got to get this done. Like we're not
we have to sell it.
This. Yeah, it's like we got to do it.
And the buyers have been urgent, not urgent, because I've like I said, I found my buyers this year to be the ones that have had a reason to transact, all transacted. The ones that are, if they don't have a reason, I only like they haven't transacted. Obviously, they just haven't done it.
Yeah,
like that's because they're just.
What have I had? I've had the urgents. Like, so I've had, like this year, I think we've done 6 military, like 3 sells and 3 purchases military. Actually, no, 4 purchases. So again, urgent. Like we're not messing about. We are getting posted and we need a home. And then the other buyers, I've even had ones that were not urgent and were kind of like just simmering. all of a sudden raise their hands up and go, now it's urgent. So, for instance, one of the clients I'm working with now, her situation came into a rental, and now she rang me about 2 weeks ago because she's like, the landlord has asked if we can have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Guess what that means? Yeah. Like getting ready to sell it. So she's like, and the timing's right anyway, because we're done. Like we had the 1 year rental, and now it is time to kind of like, let's get things set in motion. Let's buy the house. Let's find the right school district, etc., etc. So a lot of mine, even my kind of simmering people, have all of a sudden put their hand up and gone, no, I'm ready to, like, now's the time. Let's get into the market and let's get something built.
Right. But I've always found, in my experience of qualifying anyone trying to talk about real estate, it's always been timeline for me, is always like my deciding factor if they're real or not. Why are you moving? Oh, I got posted. Okay, you have to transact. Or my fixed term lease is up in a year and I want a house. Yeah, you need to if they don't have that push, I find they don't move. So like we had a few that they had timelines and they had motivation, but they just kept finding a reason to delay and delay and delay. And then they got to the point where we were like, you have to have the conversation of like, are you sure you really want to do this? And then they're like, we're happy where we're at. Great. Be cool. Like, you don't need to do this today. I found there's way more of those conversations I find with buyers. The sellers I talk to, they're all ready to go.
Yeah.
They're like, get it going, get it going,
let's
get
get
it
on
going.
the timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. And like real crisp timelines and goals and motivations that you're like, okay, yeah, you want to sell. Whereas it's flipped from 3 years ago where no one wanted to sell because they had nowhere to go.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. Whereas now, I mean, that's the good sign again of showing that our market shifted over the last 6 months, in the fact that now you're having conversations with sellers and it's like, okay, have you thought about where you want to go? Well, actually, yes, we've seen 3 or 4 places that if they're still available and we go conditional, we would write an offer.
Right.
Great. Because that wasn't the conversation last year. Last year, it's like, well, have you got plan B? Have you got a rental lined up? Can you put stuff in storage? All of those conversations. So, it's definitely changed in that aspect, but it still comes down to people going, yeah, listen, if we're going to go through this exercise of putting your house on the market, doing the photography, doing the clean, doing the declutter, making sure that things are fixed so that the property presents properly, and then we're going to have marketing, and then we're going to get the right price, and then we're going to kick you out the house for who knows how many times for viewings. It's like, listen, this is not an easy process. So if we're going to go down this path, like, we're going to go down this path to get the end result.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the conversations I'm always having with people. And part of that conversation is, and where are you going?
Yeah.
Because, like, if we get all of the things right, probably in the first 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, we should be conditional. Right. In which case, you need to know where you're going. And I've got one client now that my conversation with them all the time, they're like, okay, I think we're ready to put the house up for sale. I'm like, great. Have you found somewhere to go yet? Well, we haven't kind of decided. I'm like, whoa, like, hang on a sec.
Figure that out.
Yeah. Homeless is not really the option. And then they get into the jokey thing. It's like, well, you got a basement. Can I come stay with you? I'm like, for a day. Like, don't know whether I want to get into this.
Into a day.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm being generous here, but no, not really. So that's the other question that a lot of the sellers now have the ability to be like, great, before we put the house on the market, if you've seen a couple of areas, let's find a couple of houses and let's go and look at them. Keep your hands in your pockets because we're not buying them right now, but let's go and see if this is a viable option for you.
Right.
Because, people often go on about neighborhoods and they go into the neighborhood and I'm like, well, have you been there like a couple of times, or is it just you drove through once on that gorgeous Sunday afternoon when it was beautifully quiet, the sun was shining, there was no traffic, there was no boating
in the streets, dogs are being walked, birds were chirping, lawns are being watered.
Yeah. I'm like, have you been there a couple of times? And they're like,
been
well,
there in the hissing rain.
Yeah, it's like, we drove through it a year ago. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, you need to go back.
It is. those are conversations you're having now. I just checked for our stats. We've done, out of all of our sales this year, 20% have been listings.
Right.
So we're about the same as you. Pretty
Yeah,
buyer
exactly.
heavy. The next phase though is all listings. I've got 3 in September. Anya's got 1 coming in September. We've got 4 we're getting ready for February and March for spring.
Right. Yeah,
Like
that far ahead.
we're feeling, well, we'll get into that part because that'll be the part 2 of this, because we can talk about how the sales scores have gone for us.
Yes.
But you're seeing it now where like we have 3. I've got 3 coming in September. Anya's got 1. I've got 2 or 3 I'm now starting conversations with for February, March. Anya's got 1 she's working on for February, March for sales. You can see her in the background trying to sneak around over my shoulder. I've got 1 buyer that becomes very active and engaged in September and wants to transact end of December, so we'll close them before the new year. 1 buyer who is very casual. If the right property comes up, they'll call, but they call once every 6 months. And then I've got 2 people who homes are ready to go, like ready, like staged, painted, cleaned, shot, photographed, videographed, but waiting for the dream house. So
Right.
like they could call me tomorrow, they could call me in a year, they could call me in 2 years. Like I don't know when they're going to do anything. And then just 1,000 leads of like, we're thinking not. We're thinking we're not. Like it's like that's pretty much the funnel right now, but it's the first time in my career we're like really seller heavy. And that's where I'm like, okay, like we're clearly shifted. We've shifted.
Yeah.
It's not.
And that's when you kind of look at all of the numbers. That's the bit like with my little like whiteboard up in the corner there. That's what I'm always looking at to go, okay, who have we got? What stage are they at? And when is it time?
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, there's, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the buyer side and 3 on the seller side.
Oh yeah,
So,
we're way the opposite. Even Anya just firmed her first listing, which was an SOBP, and she got them both done at the same time. And we were talking last night about the funnel because we go on vacation in like a week. So we're like, how's the pipeline look if we get back? And she goes, I have no buyers. And I was like, fuck, we need to get you some buyer leads.
Yeah.
We need to, because sellers, as you know, they take time. If you get a seller lead today, you're probably not getting a close on that unless you rush the listing. Even it's probably gonna take 3 months, 3 to 6 months if you rush it. Buyers are at least like, if the right house is there, they can close inside of 3 if the house is there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that
can change. And that's the weird thing with our market is, tomorrow you can get a flood of buyers just for whatever reason, just instantly go, we're ready. Like, in the next month we need to get something. And you're like, what changed?
Yeah.
And, we just saw a couple of houses that would go, these are the right houses. You're like, wow, okay.
You know what's come back with a vengeance too? Open houses. Yeah. We have found engagement on like for Anya's first listing. She didn't get a viewing for her first like 2 days, and she was like, it's her first listing, and she's calling me, and like she comes home and she's like, Jay, like, did I fuck this up? Did we fuck this up? And I'm like, no, just wait till your open house. Just wait till your open house. Wait. And she's like, Jay, no one's put the viewing. I go, Anya, for the last year, every open house I've done has been buyers with realtors, but the buyers just go to the open house on Saturday because they can, and they have a day to do it.
True. Yeah.
Sure enough, she does the open house. We do 2 on the Saturday, morning and afternoon. She does her open houses. Calls. She's like, I had 42 people. 1 wrote me an offer. They all had realtors, and I'm like, yeah, this is that. It's no longer drop and run.
No.
It's
Well, I mean, that goes down to yes, you can look at 5 to 7 houses in a day because it's 30 something days on market right now. So, unless it's that special house with a brilliant price in amazing condition in the perfect location, those are the drop and run. Like, they are still around. It's just, maybe there's 1 or 2 of those a month, maybe, if you're lucky.
I would say in every price bracket, so like first time home buyers probably go 0 to 500K. Do your next price bracket go 500K to $1 million and go up $1 million up. I would say there's probably like great price, great condition, great location, and great presentation and packaging, like that whole kit and caboodle by really good realtors doing their job. Probably 1 every 2 weeks for every price bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Right? That would be the way I'd put it.
Yeah. And those are the ones that you do have to be like, we got to go see this pretty quick.
We got to run. As soon because you know it as soon as you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, and sometimes, like, especially me in the Fall River area, if I see something close to me like that, I'll be like, I'm just going to be nosy. Like, I'm just going to go and look at that because I want to see. And then you can because, with the best will in the world, a lot of the photographs in particular, you're like, they can make things look better than it actually is.
Yeah.
So it's always like, okay, this is a great price and a great location and looks amazing, but is it really? Right. So I'll be like, well, it's 2 minutes drive from my house, or it's 5 minutes on the way home to do a detour. Well, I'm going to call in. And I'll let the realtor know that, listen, I don't have anybody. I'm just being nosy. And they're like, that's fine. Like, get me a viewing, because you never know. Like, you might go in there and be like, ooh, this would be perfect for.
Yeah.
And then you go and find the buyer.
Yeah, and then you have a transaction. But like now you can do that now. And I think that's like the biggest thing about the market is you talk about days on market's up. Buyers have I think the biggest thing that is going to catch most realtors, because in the last 7 years, and it's like the market started getting hot in 2019 and then it peaked and went crazy. And I'm included in this actually, because I didn't really start my career. My career didn't really take off until 2019, and when I really started becoming like a competent realtor. Is I think a lot of the industry is going to be caught by not having ever dealt with buyers with time and options.
Right. There's a lot of the buyers, a lot of the realtors are going out going, what do you mean I showed you 2 properties and you want to see more? Like,
or what do you mean you don't want to buy it because you hate the paint color? I know that would hit. I know that hit. Or like, I don't want to buy it because the flooring's rough. Because they can say that now. Yeah,
true. So do you also feel, though, that a lot of buyers are literally being, I want the perfect house. I don't want to do anything. I don't want renovations. I don't want to repaint. I am not replacing the kitchen. Like, because there was something, I can't remember, I think it could have been like NAR, which is obviously US more than Canada. But they said then that like literally 8 out of 10 buyers don't want to do any work to the house. They just want to move in. And I'm like, like they'll be searching for a while.
That's on track. Yeah, I find that. I find it rare nowadays when a buyer is like, I'm happy to get my hands dirty. And I think it's because of price points.
True.
You know what I mean? Like I think it's hard for people to wrap their head around like $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 price points, depending on where you're looking, as an entry home price, and being like, I gotta take this thing down. I gotta renovate a kitchen, a bathroom, a floor. I gotta paint, but my mortgage is $3,000, $3,500, $4,000 a month.
Yeah. So where's the extra money for the reno?
Right. So I think that's the discrepancy nowadays. Is I find first time home buyers in the 300 to 400 range. They're the ones who are like, yeah, I'm happy to do some stuff. But I find you get above 4 and it's very much like we don't want to do, we're spending $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? You know what I mean?
It's. I think also you, depending on the people you're dealing with, the generation certainly comes into play.
Yeah.
Like I don't meet a lot of 20 to 30, maybe 35-year-olds that are like, oh, no, I know how to do whatever it is.
They don't.
They're like, no, I'll just call somebody in to do it. I'm like, well, that's going to cost you double, like what it would actually cost. And I mean, luckily, I know what's going to happen with my kids is whoever buys their first one, I'll be like, okay, like, what are we doing this weekend? And I'll be down there with all the stuff going, okay, let's rip that deck off. Like, we'll rebuild you a deck this weekend. Okay, that sink's got to come out to the whatever, and I'll be like helping out. But that's also what my dad did for my sister when we were in the UK. And my sister bought her first house. My dad turns up and, he's meant to just fix, I don't know, like a leaky toilet. Next thing you know, he's like knee deep into a bathroom reno. Just what they did. And it's like that kind of thing is also wound up on me because I'm like, I've got a little bit of time to be able to help them out. And they certainly don't have the knowledge or the skills. Yes, they could get that, but.
I don't know if it's a UK thing, but my father-in-law is the exact same way. He'd come down for a week at a time. He'd be like, he would come locked and loaded. Like he'd drive with his truck. He'd bring every tool and he'd show up like the night before he'd get here at like 5 or 6 p.m. on a Saturday night. We know he'd be driving out on the following Saturday. And he'd go, okay, beer, wings, food, pub. Okay, pub, food. And it's okay. So we're up at 7 a.m. tomorrow and we're starting. Okay. But then it'd be every day at 7 for a week. And he'd be going till 7 or 8. And then he'd leave at 7 a.m. on a Saturday. And he'd be stressed that he didn't get the work done. He's like, I left you like finishing. And we're like, that's okay.
Yeah. Trust us. We can do that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Easy. Like we can paint. It's okay. But like, I find that like that stuff, I don't hear it nearly as much with buyers. I hear the stuff of like and sometimes you gotta talk to them about it. Like when I was saying that the buyers that are engaged for September want to buy before Christmas, we did the coffee qualifying in I think June, and they were talking about what they wanted and the price points and where they were looking, and I was like, are we okay with renos? Like, do we want to do work? And they're like, I don't want to paint. And I literally go, so no.
Painting is not what we would class as reno. Painting is just cosmetic.
And then the partner goes, no, we can do some stuff. We can do some work. I go, okay, because like no work is this price point, which is out of your budget. And work is this price point, which is your budget. And they're like, okay, we can do some work. And you're like, okay, all right. Now we got to figure out what the work is. But now I think what will be really tricky for a lot of people in this is the negotiation part. Because I find now it's like when I made that joke of like buyer doesn't want to buy a house because it's not painted to the color they want, or the flooring's rough, or like something petty like, oh, the kitchen's not open concept, so I don't want to pay for it because I want an open concept kitchen. Now having to call the seller and be like, hey, can we shave off $8,000 because we want a house professionally painted before closing? Those things are starting to happen. And
interesting conversations.
It's fun now. It's a different conversation now because now you're getting sellers who are like, I'm not doing that. And then you're like, okay. And you walk away and they're calling you 2 weeks later being like, so about that paint job. And we're like, yeah. Because it's slow. You can actually negotiate and ask for things, and buyers are allowed to be picky again.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a lot of the deals that this year we've had some pretty hefty prices off. So when we send our offer in, they're like one of them, we sent the offer in, I was like, this ain't gonna fly. We've had the conversation and they're like, yeah, we understand that it's like a pretty low offer, but for what we're looking at, we think that's fair. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go through the market. Let's look at the comparables. And I'm like, you even say to them, you say, listen, there's fair and there's being a little bit cheeky.
Yeah.
Like this is more than a little bit cheeky. So just be prepared that
to be told where to go and how to get there.
and be a little bit of a like middle finger salute kind of situation, you know?
Yeah.
I said, but you know, if you're prepared to understand that might come back, just it's not just going to come back with a middle finger salute. It might also be, if we then accept that and we go into inspections, it's going to be a hard inspection problem conversation as well, because the seller will probably be like, no, you started off being that way, so I'm going to continue on being my way, and therefore take your inspections and shove it. Like, we ain't doing anything. Basically. So they're like, yeah, no, we understand. And we do have a backup property as well. So, and I'm like, okay, tell me about the backup property. Like, are we going to try this again, or are we going to be, and they're like, no, the backup property where it's listed is a good number. We'll give them that number straight off the bat. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I've not really got a lot to lose here. You look at the name of the agent on the other side and be like, I haven't dealt with that person. So like, you know, let's see what happens. I'll give them a phone call and I'll kiss and cuddle with them and do everything I can to,
and I'll write the email with all the explanation and the logic behind. Yeah.
I'm not just going to fire you a lowball offer without any kind of an explanation as to what's going on.
Yeah.
So we send that offer in, had the conversation with the realtor before we sent the offer in to say, listen, I just want to let you know where we're coming from, because I don't want you to get this and freak out and get all upset and ring me up and rip me a fresh one. So like, this is where we're coming from. Yeah. And she's like, well, no, I appreciate you at least telling me, so I've got some context.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, context is everything.
Yeah.
I said, so fingers crossed, let's see what we can do. And she's like, okay, fire it over, because you never know. And I'm like, you never know. That's actually a good sign that this might actually come together.
The fact that a lowball got, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oof, you know, and it had been on the market a while, like 42, 43 days. It wasn't a year on the market. So I'm like, okay. So she comes back and she says, well, aren't you the lucky one today? I'm like, why? And she says, they've accepted it. And I'm like, oh my Lord.
Not even a counter.
Yeah, like pray to the realtor gods of all that have gone before me that this actually worked. And then there were a few smaller things on the inspection, but nothing that was earth-shattering. So I'm like, listen, let's not rock this boat.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
Yeah, like, you know, are these things that you're good fixing, dealing with, whatever? I said, because they're not big, expensive stuff. It's just like, you know, okay, it is time for a new deck. Well, you know what? Like I told you that when we were kind of walking around the property, then I'm like, this is a bit iffy now.
Right.
So it was that kind of stuff, but there was nothing like, oh my God, we need a new septic field or anything like that, or new roofs. It was just normal stuff. And they're like, no, we can do all those. I'm like, okay, giddy up, let's go. So, you know, it worked out. But I think that's the other thing is don't ever think that you can't go a little bit cheeky on your offer. Just put the context behind it first. Like
that. I always say this about lowballs. I understand you have to ask. That I get. I understand if you're trying to buy a house. We always say it on this podcast, and I say it all the time. In real estate, when you're buying, your win is on the purchase price.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's just true. What I would say is if you're going to lowball someone, you better be prepared to walk away. And the reason why I say that is because if you lowball and they come back and hold and you fold, you're going to lose every negotiation the rest of that transaction, no matter what comes up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, now, that's if you're just lowballing for the sake of lowballing. If you're lowballing with context and you have actual reasons as to, hey, like you're at X, comparables are at Y, and there's Z amount of work, so we're at B. If you can put that in, now they may disagree, the realtor may disagree, and that's fine. But as long as you can be like, hey, here's all of the logic and our reasoning for this. We're not trying to piss anyone off. This is where we see your value and how much money we have to put into it. Then you're fine. Not in a sense of you can get something under contract, but at least it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Not
and
just
that's
yeah.
all we're ever asking for is
It's
let's
reasonable.
just be reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, don't be an idiot and don't be crazy. Let's
Yeah.
just be reasonable because we have a willing buyer here and a willing seller. So
Right.
let's figure this out in a reasonable manner.
On the other side, I do have an active real estate investor who buys a house, 1 or 2 houses a year, and we see about 20, 25 properties. And he comes, every offer is 15, 20% below asking. And he is literally just trying to see who will do what. But he doesn't give a shit. And what I mean, like, he doesn't care if they accept it or not. So I got no problem lowballing with him because it's like, yeah, like, I never thought you were going to get this anyway. But once every 20, we get someone who wants to do a deal and we get something for a steal and he's really happy and it cash flows well.
Exactly.
That's the other side of lowballing.
Yeah.
I understand doing
And
that part.
that's also investor profile as well.
That's investors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
I
what they
also-
are. It's like we're not emotionally attached to buying the house because the house is not what we're after. We're
Exactly.
after the cash flow and the appreciation.
Exactly. So like when you have someone trying to buy a house to live in, that's lowballing. That's when you have to have the conversation of like, you bet, like for your guys to be like, we have a second property that we would pay list on right away if this doesn't work out. I'd say great, because chances are this one's not going to work out and I don't want you to cry over this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if the worst thing you can happen is when of course we've all had buyers try and lowball. Even in the past 7 years, which was asinine. But now you can throw a cheeky lowball of like 30K under and see what they do.
Yeah.
Some may even be aggressive to go 50. That's a little high. But you can do that now because now you have leverage. But even then, like if you're going 50 under, like my thing would be like, how badly do you want the house? Like I know you're trying, but like, do you have logic? Can we give context? Can I call the realtor? Can I have a discussion? Because you said it best. We have a seller and a buyer that want to come together. We just have to figure out how to make that work. And that's our job.
True. Yeah.
It's not like 2 points in the sand and you're fighting about it. Like that's not when transactions happen.
No, they happen.
They do.
I've
They do
definitely
happen.
butted heads like twice this year. That I'm like,
they
oh
happen.
my God, just get me out of this deal, please. Like I am done talking to this realtor. And every time you know that something you do something and you're like, I know how this is going to play out. I'll just give it 5 minutes and that thing over there is going to ring and it's like, deep breath, here we go.
Yeah. Oh, they happen. But that's not how we like to do business.
No.
But that is the nature. But nowadays, I would also argue, like, as the market shifts, and I think, okay, do you think in the next 6 months it gets colder or warmer in the market?
There's that crystal ball question. I would say colder. I would say we're going to get more listings.
Yep.
And the sales are not going to keep pace with the new stuff coming on.
Yeah.
Because if we had 1,200 for sale, we list 500 and we sell 500. 1,200 still for sale.
You're fine. Yep.
What I can see happening is we're at 1,100, 1,200. We put 500, 600 on and we sell 300. So I think in the next 4 or 5 months, we'll be building inventory. I think days on market are probably going to stay roughly where they are in that like kind of 35 to 45-ish, somewhere in that range. Yep. But we're going to start building inventory.
I think so too. Especially because the last few, you and I have done market review we do it every December. One of my favorite podcasts of the year, actually. I look forward to it every December. The last 3 or 4 Decembers, we've come back to we've all said, you and I have said this every time. The fall market was dead. It wasn't the bump that we're used to in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 20, and this year. I don't know about this year, but the last 2 years have been a little like not much of anything. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't think fall is going to be anything. I think it's going to be steady on where we're getting inventory back. it's cooling. You can tell it's cooling. Also, like, buyers are worried because house prices are where they're at. That's a real conversation.
And they are like touching on that price. It is coming down, but it's still high. It's still like you kind of look at it and go, Phew, like, you know, I know that my house purchase was like 19 years ago. So it's a little ridiculous when you look at that number.
Yeah.
But still, you know, I'm like, how would I feel if I was 25 years younger than I am now and I was trying to buy my first house, looking at the prices that I'd have to pay? I'd be like, man, like, you know, where am I going to be?
Yeah.
Is the first question. Second question is like, can I still get anything decent for that number?
I think of the mortgage. That's just what I think of, because I was talking to, I met with two people on the weekend who were getting ready to sell by in the new year. And they're like, we've been pre-approved for, it was above 700. So over 700,000. But we don't want to touch that. And I'm like, why? Because it's a $4,000 a month mortgage. And they're like, yeah, it's $4,500 a month. And I'm like, yeah, that just makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, that's a big number.
Like when you just I always try and put that into perspective when, like, I've got people selling and they're like, oh, well, like, I can, like, our house is worth da-da-da. I'm like, you're asking someone to pay $5,000 a month mortgage. Just a heads up of who you're trying to acquire.
Yeah.
That's a mortgage. That's not taxes, utilities, maintenance.
That's living expenses. It's like,
you know what I mean?
Like, just a mortgage.
That's just like real. When you talk about the prices, like, really, like, I don't try and look at average sale prices. Like, everyone's now used to average sale prices. Like, we're all, like, desensitized. Like, the shock value of a sale price ended in 2021.
Yeah, true.
that's what we're all just well and used to things being where they're at now, and it's painful. Now I talk about the mortgage, where I'm like, yeah, that $500,000 house is $3,000 a month.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like the opposite to when you see car adverts. Only $119 bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Well, for how long? And I'm sorry, how much is the car? We've like flipped it the other way now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, we're not talking about how much the house is. It's like, yeah, but that's a $4,000 a month mortgage payment. And you're like,
yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So, like, that's where I talk about with the home prices now, where I'm like, that is such a, because Anya wants a new house because child's 2 now and she's taken over everything in my life. And so Anya's like, we need more square footage. And she's like, well, I want ... I'm like, that's a $500,000 house. She's like, I know. I'm like, oh my God, $3,000. Like, I don't want to pay $3,000 a month. I don't, but I will because I have to. But it's still like, house prices suck. And, like, they are dropping. So, like, I did the shitty realtor thing on social media. I don't know if you saw it.
What did you do?
I did the caption, house prices in Halifax dropped $66,000 in 3 months from April to July, because it always does. And it's great for getting people to watch the video because it's a great shock and awe. I opened the video with
tagline. Yeah.
I opened the video with, this always happens. Yeah. Because it always happens. But I did do the shock and awe thing of, like, this will get me some hits. Because I was talking about the market stats and what was happening. Anyway, they always go down from April to July. It'll go down again in August, because August is typically the lowest sale price every year, that in December. But they always shift. But do we, like, as the market cools and you get more inventory, you would think, betting that house prices should come down further.
That's what you think.
That's what you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the theory in the crystal ball.
We've guessed that and been proved wrong way too many times for me to.
We're 3 times in a row being wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Where it's like, we can't stay this high as an average price. And then lo and behold, the next month either, like, it goes down by 1,000 or it goes up by 10. And you're like, the hell? Like, how is this still going up?
If you had told me average price would have been $666,000 this year in December, I would have called you crazy. I would have said absolutely no chance. Now, I talked to you about that, and of course we talked about this, but like you had an egregious amount of homes selling over $1 million plus a $14 million home sale, so like that juiced it.
Yeah.
But like you're still like, dude. I did check though, for July. In the last 3 years, it's always been at 600 grand. No matter what the peak was.
Weird.
So for the last 3 Julys, it's like 599, 598, and 6 are the last 3 average sale prices in July.
Well, you can't say it's not a steady market then.
Can't say it's not.
It's like, can't explain it, but okay.
That's just what it's done. And I'm like, okay, well, we're on trend.
Yeah.
I wanna flip this because there's a second portion of this podcast I want to talk to you about. I saw a statistic, and I texted this, and Sandra Pike has been on a roll of real estate content.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot. I don't know where she gets her numbers from. Maybe I might call and ask because I'm curious. But most realtors I talked to this year are down 10 to 15% in sales compared to last year.
Yeah.
And I saw a stat from Sandra Pike.
You saw a Pike post.
I know, I saw a Pike post that said 50% of realtors in Halifax have not done a deal this year. 50% of realtors in Halifax have not done a transaction this year.
Okay.
What do you think of that? Like, let's just, okay, if we go by realtors in Halifax, I think there's probably I think now we have 2,000 in all of Nova Scotia. I think is what we're at, like 2,000.
Sounds about right. Yeah, we were always like 1,1700 or something like that for the whole of Nova Scotia.
Right. And then COVID brought in a bunch of new ones. So I think we're at about if you go 2,000 Nova Scotia, let's go 1,700 in Halifax probably. Because I don't think there's a lot of, you want to go 16 or 15?
Yeah, I'd be more like probably 15.
Okay, go 15. Yeah. That means 750 people have not done a transaction this year. Now,
it sounds plausible.
Now, caveat, I got this years ago from someone at an NSA where like 80% of the industry or 82% of the industry does less than 6 transactions a year, meaning they're part-time. So, significant number of realtors are part-time. And truth, like how many people do we know that work a full-time job and just sell their friends' houses on the side?
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, that comes into this too. But 750 people have not done a transaction this year, whether or not they want to or not.
Yeah, that's a lot.
In Halifax.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That would be your first sign the market's cooling. That's your first one. If realtors aren't eating, there's not as many sales.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to bring this to you because we talked about this before where you had a rough 2025 and you've kickstarted your year. I gave you a text in April that kicked me in the ass. And I thank you for that.
Always happy to oblige.
Because I texted you in April and I was like, market's clearly slow and everything's cooling down. Do you want to come back and do a pod about it? And you were like, you're slow? And you rattled off the one sentence. It was like, I've got 3 new lists coming to market. I've got 2 listing appointments this week. And I've got 7 buyers shopping over $750,000. It was something like that in 4 sentences in a text on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. And I was like, I'm fucking bad at my job.
Or look at it the other way.
Yeah.
I was just an outlier. Because that's the other way that sometimes you're like, I think we're at 20, end of July, we were at 26 closed and pending by the end of July.
Okay.
So, it shows that, yes, during that kind of February, March, April, we were putting a lot of information out there that was clearly attracting the right people.
Right.
Now, some of those people, I know it's been a 4-year process with some of those
Right.
people.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, this isn't, it's the same thing as everything, like, oh, he went from doing nothing to being an overnight success. No,
Right.
you just didn't see the 5 years of hard work to get to be an overnight success. Well, it's the same thing with the real estate. Some of these people you've been kissing and cuddling and nudging along for 4 or 5 years to get them to the point. It just so happened that, this year, almost all of those people that have been just like bubbling quietly all came to the surface and said, yep, this is it, let's go.
Right.
And then I will absolutely say, and they've been very nicely looked after. One client sent me like 6 referrals in the space of 2 months.
Ooh.
And you're like, how did that happen? Because you've never sent me a referral in like 6 years. And then all of a sudden, they were like, giddy up. And I was like,
Giddy
I
up.
don't think I did anything different. Like,
Well, now I'm getting you a very nice present. Yeah. Now you're getting a very good thank you card.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, I will look after you.
Right.
So, we were lucky that way. And then we've done a lot more like kind of almost like doing the sell and the buy kind of sides.
Yeah.
Whereas typically a lot of my buyers have just been one-sided. We're just buying. And then, like X number of years later, fingers crossed, the sell comes. And then is there a buy? Sometimes it's a sell and they're like going back to the UK or something like that. So, there isn't another transaction anywhere on your horizon. It's just you list the house and sell it. So we've definitely had more of those this year as well. So it's been a little bit of a perfect storm, but, as always, you've got to have done the work at some stage.
I was gonna say, because like our conversation at the end of 25 was you had a bad year, you're upset about it, and we were talking about this in November, December. You were doing the hard yards of what lead generation looks like for us.
Exactly. Yeah,
and that showed up in 2026. It's the golden rule of sales. So every day you lead generate, in 90 days you can expect a dollar return.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And it'll fall from anywhere. It won't even be from the leads you generated. It'll be from that lead from 2 years ago that was on the bubble. Was like, I found this house, write me an offer today. And you're like, oh my God, I haven't even talked to you for 2 years. Like that'll be how it shows up.
Yeah.
But essentially, like the reason why I want to tie in this is because for the 750 people in Halifax that we think haven't transacted, like, is it because they're used to a market that always transacts? Because in the last 7 years, Halifax real estate has transacted. I think like I track the lead gen numbers we do. So like at the peak of the market, like I think 1 in every 15 people I talked to was a lead.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's like 1 every 40.
And it's also how many conversations in total do you have to have with that 1 in 40?
Right. Yeah.
So it's no longer like, I have to talk to them 4 or 5 times and then we're out looking at houses. It's like, no, it's more like 12 times.
Right.
To actually get them into a point where they're like, no, we agree now. Like, let's go talk to the mortgage person and look at houses. Yeah.
Now it's like navigating when the transaction window is. When before it was like, you want to buy, it'd be like, you talk to 15 people, they always want to buy. It was never a sell. It was always a buyer.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, coffee's your first touch. Mortgage broker's the second touch. A third touch is like selling mortgage properties. Fourth touch, you're out and you're shopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so far removed from what it feels like today working with a buyer. Selling, I find a lot. It's funny. I find selling now when I when I go on listing appointments is like, okay, you see, like, because sellers now see the market's gone cold. And now they're like, what do I have to do? I'm like, you got to paint, you got to clean, you got to stage, you got to declutter. Here's all the things we do. And they're like, okay, in 6 months' time, we'll be ready. Great. I'll talk to you in 6 months. And you have to hold their hand the way through that. But they're on board to do this stuff now because they now realize they have to. Buyers are but now it's like, I think for us now, it's like 1 in 40 is like a good, like a proper, like, I want to do something. And that is almost 3 times the work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's statistically almost 3 times the work.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yep.
It's also the same way that a lot of people that we end up talking to, ours are usually, by the time they talk to us, they're a lot further down the funnel because they've known me from the top of the funnel.
Right.
So like at the moment, for some reason, like we've had 3 people reach out through Instagram that are like, okay, not right now, but in the next 3 to 6 months, I need to talk to you now about areas and I'll tell you my plan and where I am and all of the good stuff that I need to know. But I'm like 3 to 6 months out. And we've had like 3 of those through Instagram. And then we also know that Facebook has been like kind of going through the roof with engagement and comments and likes. So at the same time, I'm like, okay, great. Like all this social media is starting to almost start that conversation higher up. So when they get down to here, that's when they like actually reach out to me. And I'm like, oh, well, where did you find me? And usually it's like, for me, usually it starts off with if somebody doesn't know me at all, it's like, well, first of all, we found you on YouTube. We've been watching that now for the last 6 months to a year. Then we kind of validated you by seeing what you do on Facebook and Instagram to make sure that you're the kind of person that we want to talk to. And then I reached out and either emailed you or phoned you or just went and set up an appointment to have a conversation for 30 minutes. So it's funny like how the process works. And I'm like, well, I didn't know you were doing the stuff way up here. I only know when you're down here ready to talk to me.
Right.
So it's just funny when you start seeing that. So from a touch point of view, I'm probably less touches to get them to do the action because it's been doing something else somewhere, social media wise, it's been doing all the touching for me.
But you've been doing the work on social. Right. So like you're still like maybe it's 100 touches on social.
Could be
to get them down the funnel.
I'd say it's more than just like, the 15 to 20 phone conversations.
No. It's way more than that.
Way up there.
Yeah. So like, it's not, but that's the thing, right? It's like the work. Anya was struggling the other day because she went door knocking for the first time.
Oof. There's an experience.
And she came home after knocking on some doors and was like, that's hard. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I was watching it. She showed me this real estate coaching clip on TikTok, I think she saw. And it was like, the hardest part about doing the work that you're doing is you don't see the results of what you're doing right away.
Yep.
And I think that's like the trick of it. So all that work you do on social, like you see it now, but you don't know a year ago that you do it in the hope that like you stay top of mind. We do it like you do it for like to stay top of mind to your sphere, your friends and family, and your followers. You hope they refer and you hope that brings in new people. But until you start bringing in new people consistently, do you ever actually think, oh my God, there's something here?
Yeah. No.
And all the work and the hours and I know you hired an editor because it was too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? To like go through the process of editing YouTube videos is like, it's ridiculous. Like, this is taking me like 4 or 5 hours to get 15 minutes or less. and you're obsessing over what background music and transitions, and I'm like, why am I shouldn't be obsessing about this. Like, I'll go down this rabbit warren and next thing you know, I'm a professional YouTube editor.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, I'm supposed to be a realtor. Like, not the best use of my time. So that's cut down on the process a lot for sure. And it just makes everything easier because, my investment then is research and find the topic, spend the time to get the studio ready, know what you're going to say and press record. And I will be recording 25 to 28 minutes to get the 15 because there's that many issues, shall we call them, during the recording.
I decided to dedicate, I do the podcasts. We record 3 to 4 a month that I can. Those are about an hour a piece. Because we've moved this podcast so much, I have another one after you.
Nice.
Today's back to back. I do 3 short form 5 to 10 minute videos a month. as well as like 10 to 15 shorts. So 1 minute clips. And the way I do it now is there's 1 day of recording. And what I mean by that is like podcasts are recorded whenever the guest is available, like today. For the days of like short form videos and the shorts, it's like, okay, we start at 9. I've got the 3 topics. I know what I'm talking about. I've got the 10 to 15 shorts written out. I know what we're doing. I have to change an outfit 25 times in the run of a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing this afternoon, funny enough,
I
is
have
like
to
going
put on
somewhere with
different
2 or 3 different
clothes
shirts. Yeah.
so that it doesn't look like we're recording at the same time of every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But basically it's 1 day of recording, then you have all the content, and then you spend the rest of them on fucking editing. And scheduling. I find scheduling it is the stupid thumbnails and the written captions, and like that's where I like that's my pain point.
Yeah, that's your kryptonite.
It's my point of like, you know what my real pain point is? It's the thumbnail. The thumbnail is like my true like.
Yeah. Yeah. Like every time I see them when the editor does them and sends them back to me, every time I'm like,
yeah,
just not
tweak.
quite.
Yeah.
You know, like the first 1 or 2, I'm like, way off mark. And I'm
Right.
always battling to be like, okay, I need to find a better thumbnail person. The editor's fine. The editor's good. The scripting and the content and everything is all on me anyway. But the thumbnail, I'm like, every single time, I'm like, you just didn't get it. You just, no. You
missed the whole point.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm sure, and I understand that you don't need to watch the video, but at least read the 2 sentences I sent you about what the video is about.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then you have over like 40 different headshot style thumbnail images of me doing all sorts of different poses and all that kind of stuff.
Just use one of them. Just use fine.
Yeah. And they're all in focus. They're all very clear. And that's one of the other problems is sometimes I get the thumbnail back and I'm like looking and squinting going, I am not in focus. I'm like, what image? Where did you get that from? Because every single one that's on the Google Drive that's shared with you is a DSLR Canon M50 photo. I know it's in focus because it said autofocus. So I'm like, where did you get this from? So that's, I think I'm on my 4th or 5th thumbnail editor.
I want to bring this full circle. Out of your 26 deals this year, how many came from social? Do you think?
Off the top of my head, about 8, maybe 9.
Almost 40, 50%.
Yeah.
Somewhere,
at least a third.
Like,
at least a third.
Yeah. So 30 to 40%.
Yeah.
For all the work we're talking about, and I'm assuming the rest is probably past clients, friends and family.
True. Yeah.
Right?
It's referrals, it's repeat clients, and it's client referrals.
Right. So for us, like you could also argue social media. You have all your friends and family on Facebook. You're just staying top of mind through social media content.
True. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, because that's helping the conversation. Yeah.
Right. That's extra touch points. So like for the 750 people that haven't transacted, because I find that fascinating, and you're hearing it more and more. When I talk to more and more agents, you're the only one I talk to this year who's like, I'm up.
Really?
You're the only one. You're the only one. I haven't talked to anyone else who's like, I'm doing really well. Now, do I talk to that many realtors? No. But I talk to enough, right? Because we don't have an office. Yeah. We don't have an office. I don't go to an office. When I talk to realtors, it's usually at a bar.
There's no coffee room chat, is there?
Right? There's no like nothing like that. So I'm not talking to every realtor. But I talk to enough. And I talk to enough on the phone because you're doing deals and you're doing transactions. That in a wide variety of brokerages, in a wide variety of, I would say, level of realtor, from great to good to mediocre to, you know, they
Fill in the
all,
blank yourself. Yeah.
they all, most of them have said we're down. And
Right.
it's because the market's slower. Sales are down.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of it. Right? So for
Yeah.
those
I mean,
750,
it's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
The trick is, well, do you want to follow that? I mean, it is a bit like worrying that you look at like 50% of realtors haven't done a deal. Yet we know just to hold your license for a year is probably hitting the $3,000 to maybe $5,000, depending on the stuff you got to do.
Depending on the brokerage.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of skip the brokerage costs. Like, just to hold your real estate license with the courses, errors and emissions, the new general liability insurance we now have to hold, all of that kind of stuff, just to hold your license and not do a deal. That's 3 to 3.5 just on its own.
And never mind the brokerage fees.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Because
once they
EXP is
kick in.
150 a month?
155, yeah, 155 a month.
So 155 on top of that, you're looking at another 4,500. So like 45 out of pocket just to be able to be like, I can trade. I can buy and I have the permission to buy and sell houses.
Yeah, exactly. And I haven't actually done it.
Right. For 750 people, like I'm just like, you clear, like I'm just, it's fine. There's a few points I want to make. One is like, is it because the market's shifting where you were buying and selling houses in a really hot market, where if you talk to 15 people, so you went to enough house parties or you went to enough social gatherings that you met enough people to keep your business and make it feel like it's thriving. And now the market's cooled and that rug's been pulled and you don't know what to do. Or is it, you know what to do and you're not consistent at it, or you know what to do and you don't want to do it?
Yeah.
Like those are like your three things.
Yeah, I would say you could almost go a third. Because I think there's definitely agents that got their license during the like 20 to 23 market and were like, this is brilliant. But
I'm rich.
Yeah.
I sold one house.
That was just a very crazy market.
Yeah.
And you probably had just had enough friends or family that you knew that were like, I need somebody, you're good, let's go. I've known you for X number of years. I think that's one category of people. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, my friends have all bought. None of them want to sell because they haven't been there long enough to then be able to sell.
Yep.
So that's one group of realtors. I think there's definitely another group of realtors, which is that bigger group, which is I know what I want to do, but oh God, it's hard. I know I need to talk to people. I know I need to just call them up and go, what's new, what's exciting. And I know I need to go to like open houses and I need to go to networking, but it's just hard. And I don't really feel like doing it anymore. I'm out. And they just procrastinate.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably
or they tell themselves, okay, tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Which is the day that never comes.
Tomorrow. I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm going to work out. I'm going to drink my protein shake. I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to do mobility work. I'm going to go for a walk. And then I'm going to start hardcore. I'm going to get that podcast I always wanted to get. I'm going to film 3 pieces of social media content. I'm going to call 25 people. I'm going to enter them all into my database and update the CRM. I'm going to do FinTrack on that one transaction that needs FinTrack because that closes in a week.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. And that's great, but you can't be consistent at that.
No.
So set yourself a consistent goal that you can do and just do that until it ramps up in 2 to 3 months. And then you can do a little bit more. The difficulty is it's that roller coaster of like, I'm not busy, so I'll do all my lead gen. I'm busy, so I stop doing my lead gen. I get a lot of closings and money's in the bank. And then I'm broke again. And I need to go back and do all my lead generation again. And now I've got deals against the lead. And it's like that is typical realtor. Yeah. So it's like, how about you do this and then go like this?
How about you just show up consistently?
Yeah.
But I saw a reel recently that was like, so it's one of those influencer guys who's like really successful, and there's so many of them nowadays. But he was like, hey, man, they're like, what's the secret to success? And he was like, consistency. No one's consistent. And I was like, fuck me.
Yeah.
But
it's like, it's not rocket science. We all know what to do.
Right.
But just do it consistently.
I want to bring this home because when you sent me that text of like the list of like, I didn't realize it, but the start of the year, I had pneumonia in January.
Oof. That's
and I didn't know, but it was rough. And I missed my first month of lead gen. And it just put me in like a funk, I guess. I just never sorted it out. So then the market was slower and I blamed it on the market, but I wasn't doing the work. And then you were like, we got to April and I was like, the market's slow, because I kept hearing the market's slow and I wasn't busy. So I kept blaming the market and I wasn't doing the work and I wasn't doing the work and I wasn't doing the work. And then I got your stupid text of like, I'm doing da 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 da. And I remember I think Annie was sitting next to me, and I looked at my phone and I just go, fuck. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's not the market.
Nope.
So I want to thank you for that. I'm not kidding. I went back to work
for the textable kick up the ass.
Yeah, it was the textable kick up the ass, because I guarantee you my back half of 2026 is on fire, and it's going to be on fire, and we're going to be really great. But it's only because we started showing up to work. When we started making sure, or I started making sure that I made a schedule that was easy to follow, and I literally tell you, I clock in now and I clock out, and I do my job, and it's the day-to-day stuff, and that's what gets done. And that's how we turn this thing around inside of 3 months, which is 90 days.
Well, like you say, real estate, contrary to anybody's popular belief, it's not rocket science. It's actually fairly straightforward, but it starts with, number one, I think you're right, like have that schedule. When do you start? And you better make sure, when do you finish? That's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, I can quite happily sit here till like 10 o'clock at night doing stuff. Is it worth it? Nah. Because it'll be stuff. It's not productive. It's not worth it. It's not something that actually has to critically be done before whatever o'clock tonight. But I can sit there and do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no. Like, I'm lucky. Jane is upstairs, and all of a sudden she'll be like, we're eating. Are you joining us or not? And it's like, well, that's the end of my day then.
Andy does that to me too.
I'm done.
Andy does that to me too. Table's ready. Exactly. Where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm coming to the table.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up because I got to go. But market's slower. Buyers pickier.
True.
Selling harder.
Yes.
Real estate harder.
Yes.
Okay. That sums up
suck it up. Don't be a princess and just get on with it.
Thank you. I'm glad I talked to you in April. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
No worries. Take care. See ya.
All right. Leave the link open just for a few minutes. Let's finish loading. Okay.
Yeah. Deal.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. You can find our contact information in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again.